Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm going to take up more of your questions in another segment of Ask Judy. If you enjoy these segments, please do hit like and subscribe. From My Patchwork Garden. Hi, Judy. I'm a Judy too. Oh, lovely. We enjoy your behind the scenes segments of the Waltons. We just finished watching all 9 seasons over the last year. We are in our 60s. I didn't have TV growing up, so it was all new to me. My husband, Dave, had watched most of the seasons growing up with his family every week. We were sad when Grandpa died, when Grandma had a stroke, and when John Boy Mama and Daddy left the show. Corbeth was our least favorite character, but the actress did a good job. Thank you for the years you gave to the show. We are looking forward to the movies now. Questions. Where did you record the Good Nights segments?
Good night, Mama.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Good night, Ben.
Good night, everybody.
Night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Good night.
Night, Libby.
Night.
Those were done usually in the living room or the kitchen. What they do is at some point when post-production was going on, there'd be a message sent down to the assistant director that the post-editing sound department needed those good nights to finish the edit. And so they would get those of us who were in that, so they do it on a day when the actors who were in the good nights were all working. And then we'd have the script, the page, the good nights in front of us, and we'd stand around under the boom microphone, and we would just go through and do those good nights 2 or 3 times. The assistant director or the director of the episode, somebody would just or even the sound person would just go, okay. And we do it 2 or 3 times and they go, yep, we got it. And then those would get sent up to the sound department to insert them into the end of the episode. So there was no particular rhyme or reason to when, just, usually, at some point once a week or whatever, we'd be asked to do those. So that was how those were done. And then, was there more than one Waltons truck? No, we just had the one green truck that John drove for many years, and they had a lot of trouble with it. It was always breaking down, so the transportation department was always working on trying to keep it running. So it was, I think, a pretty authentic vehicle. And I think I've talked about how oftentimes when it wasn't running, they'd have to either pull it into the scene or pull it out of the scene or something, because someone would hop in to turn it on and it wouldn't start or it wouldn't go. And so they just attach a big rope and some of the big guys would just pull it. And then your last question, did the child actors ever fight on set? We bickered. I don't think there were ever any real fist fights or, any physical fights. We just, that wasn't who we were. And none of the fights were that serious. It was more just bickering and stuff like that and being mad at somebody and maybe some yelling now and then, but nothing ever got physical, and it would blow over pretty quickly. And maybe there might be a period of time where, somebody wasn't really speaking to somebody else, but we all always knew we were family. From, it looks like Ted Eom or Tedo M. Sorry about that. Sorry it took me so long to get back. I had to go watch The Homecoming: A Christmas Story again. You admitting to being starstruck in the presence of William Windom, Miss Judy, made me chuckle a bit. After the struggles of your own to become a person of fame yourself, looking back from where you are now, what is the difference between the starstruck Judy Norton at 13 and the Judy Norton that dazzles us today? How do you think fame affected you, and where do you think your life would have taken you had you not become famous? By the way, thanks for telling William Windom's story. I had never heard the story of his military career before. He was a true American hero. It's definitely been an evolution, because as a young person, it took a while before I think we had a sense that people knew who we were. We didn't feel it as much in LA, but you get recognized at times. And when we started going out and doing parades or personal appearances, and a whole bunch of people would show up to get an autograph, it was like, really? Me? I don't know that I felt any different. But then I think there was a time when I let it go to my head. And so I had a little bit of self-importance. I wouldn't say I felt like that happened so much out and about as a struggle internally, like on the set, because I didn't feel like the children were necessarily granted much significance. We weren't invited to the table reads. We were sort of excluded from a lot of stuff. The attitude often seemed to be like, oh, well, they just need to do their job and not cause trouble. So we weren't necessarily always felt highly valued on the set, not by the crew or the fellow cast, but just, I don't know, it was just kind of there, and it would filter down somehow, especially come negotiation time. I think there was a sense that, they didn't want us thinking we had any power, and we certainly didn't feel that way. So I think I would fight against that and get a little rebellious and difficult and, trying to throw my weight around. And so I had to kind of come past that to recognize that, yes, I might be recognized out and about, and I might be part of something that's really wonderful. But, I had so many tremendous opportunities in my life because of the show that it took me a while to come through and just recognize, is there anything special about me compared to somebody else? No. I think we're all special. I think we all have strong qualities, and that we all have the capability of being incredibly important to people around us. But I think that I've come to realize it's more about how we behave and how we treat others, and that ultimately the people I respect most are those that I feel just treat others like they're important too, and give them the time of day and all of that. So it's been an evolution, and some people get through it faster. Some people don't go through it at all. So that was my journey, and I hope that that's something that I have put behind me entirely. Following up from the last question and comment about William Windom, this is from William Windom Tribute Site, which I didn't know existed, and I look forward to looking into that. He said, "You did a great job. I'm going to do, as part of my docuseries on Bill, a video on his military career. He didn't jump in D-Day. He was in jump school at the time and went overseas in July or August of 45. He hoped the Charlie character would be a regular part of the show, but he wasn't, and Bill was looking for steady work. The family he brought was his fourth wife, Jackie, and his daughter, Heather. She and I talk occasionally, and she's not on social media, but I will share this video with her." So I really thank him for sharing that. And for those of you like me who would like to know more about William Windom and his life in general, I would say check out William Windom Tribute Site. This also is in regards to the homecoming from Tom Beater, who said, in much later interview available on YouTube, David Huddleston spoke of some Virginianisms he brought to the character, such as adding a bag of peanuts to his soft drink and spitting on a hot stove. Director Fielder Cook, also a Virginian, liked them and left them in the movie. So thank you for sharing that. This is from the Master's Quill. "Thank you for these segments and for your embracing the popularity of the show, which was one of the few I was allowed to stay up to watch in first run, usually at 8 p.m. bedtime. So I'm glad you were able to watch the show. I have an odd question for your next go-round of these. I am a game show fan, and you were always good on your appearances on them. So my question is, do you have any specific memories of those hosts, of what those hosts were like, and how were you contracted to do those? Do celebrities have their agents call, or do the show's producers reach out? Also, you were on Password Plus multiple times. Was the contact different once you had been on the show versus being a newbie? I've always been curious why some celebrities were on fairly regularly and others might randomly appear or never at all. I did do Password and Password Plus quite a lot, and I think it was because I did well on the game. So that, I think, was a factor that I must have been a competent guest, and they liked my personality enough, and I was able to help people win money and all of those types of things. So that's my take on it. All these would come through my press agent. They would contact various different shows and pitch me as a potential celebrity guest. And sometimes if you hadn't done a show before, they'd call you in and you'd do sort of an initial meeting with the people who booked the show, the talent coordinators, and they might have you play a mock game in their office or something to just see if you understood the game and how it ran, and we're going to be a good guest. And then once you'd been on the show, then I think maybe my press agent would reach back out occasionally and say, how about having Judy on again? Or if something like Password, they might contact them and go, hey, we'd love to have Judy back. I'm not sure exactly. I would just get the call from my press agent that they'd like to have me back and with a potential date. And some of the others there were some shows I did just once, and for whatever reason, I didn't meet their expectations, or, some shows really kind of wanted a quick-witted humor. And that was not my specialty. So I think that then there were some shows like that I didn't get asked to do or didn't get asked back to do. But shows I did multiple times, like Crosswits and $25,000 Period, Password Plus, those types of shows, I think were well suited to my skill set. I thought all of the hosts were really nice. And some of them I would then also run across like at celebrity events, whether it was like tennis tournaments, golf tournaments, things like that. I liked them. They were personable. That's why they were good hosts. I don't have specific recollections of them because I didn't interact with them much away from the actual shooting of it. But yeah, I always had a good time, and I liked my opportunities to do game shows. Thank you for joining me for this segment of Ask Judy. I'll be back with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy. Thanks for watching.